They share. Yes. You started? Yes. How's it going? Call the meeting to order. I just want to first say thanks to Brighton for letting us use the space down here and allowing us to be here. It's been a while since we've been here, so a couple of years. So thank you, appreciate that. Okay, so roll call. Then everybody's present. Then okay. Verification on meeting notice, please. All meeting notices have been given as required by law.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Do we have a motion for approving the agenda for tonight?
Make a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I second that.
Been moved and seconded. We approved the agenda for tonight. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda is approved. Is there any conflict of interest for the meeting tonight? Hey, Jason. Sorry, guys.
You're okay. We have you right here next to you, Jason.
All right. If there's no conflict of interest, we'll move on to distinguished visitors. Something that will be presented to us. Is there anybody else that needs to speak, I guess, first? Yeah.
COVID, we've had some issues that we haven't been able to come down, so it's good to get down here.
Thanks for coming to see us.
Yeah, we have had a petition presented to the board. We have 250 signatures on the petition to issue general obligation bonds to construct version of the middle school addition and the high school classroom addition on the existing high school building. So we get 147 signatures to bring this to a vote. And like I said, we have 250. So we'll address that then officially later on.
Great. Okay. Moving on then. Mrs. Stode, you're next with our reports then.
Sure. Actually, everything is in your packet. I just gave you an update on the 21-22 TLC positions that Washington's going to have. We have lots of new positions. Every spring, each building determines what their focus area based on data, what supports that they need, and then they create their own plan. And they know the dollar amount that they can use for their building, and they figure out how to best use those dollars to support the teachers to get the most bang for our buck for our students. So this is the list of who all's there, and some people hold more than one position, but you see that we have a great array of different people that are serving in leadership capacity. Then you see the link at the end is the TLC end of year report. That is something that I complete every June, and it's due to Department of Ed. And one of the questions is, what % of your teachers are serving in a leadership capacity? And we said at 45% of our teachers serve in some sort of leadership capacity, either through this, through teacher quality, through labor management, all those different committees, but 45%. That's pretty good. I think that's really good compared to other districts. So we're proud of that. And you also have the full TLC end of year report, so it has the data and our markers and everything. So if you have any questions about that, feel free to let me know.
What are some of the new?
Some of the new positions, well, we have PLC leaders, which we've never had that specific title before. We've kind of served that capacity, but it's been more than just specific to PLC leaders. We have, a couple of years ago, we started having district-wide PD leaders. So for like the music and the art and the PE, who are kind of, they're called singletons. They have their own specific area. We have those leaders also as district-wide leaders. We also have the student support team and the staff support team at Stewart. Continuous improvement coordinator at Lincoln is a new position, and they're going to be actually coordinating a lot of the PD for next year, in addition to the principal and the instructional coaches. And then there are also implementation teachers that are going to support that. So just a lot of different ways to think about what we're doing. And like I said, the staff is very reflective at those during those surveys to see what exactly we need to support the areas that we need growth in.
So how many of the TLC positions are exclusively TLC and not classroom teacher?
Just four, just the instructional.
Just our
coaches.
instructional
So they're full release. All of the others are in addition to their regular position.
Okay,
That's a good question.
and those are the same people as it was last
Yes,
year?
yes.
Okay.
They do a mid-year review. They are evaluated by their principals. They sign a letter of continuation in February because that is a lot of training to get that position. We actually added a special ed instructional coach this year also through our therapeutic grant, and that's a district-wide position. So that will be a good addition to those four.
Is that in here?
It is not. That is not through TLC funds. That's through the grant funds. So this is just the TLC
Can we
money.
say who that person is?
Jessica McLaughlin.
Okay.
She was a special ed teacher at the middle school. Any other
From the
questions?
past,
Yeah.
one of these four would have been providing that resource to those special ed teachers, and now it's more specialized.
Actually, all four.
It was spread between each building.
So
Like,
Yep.
like Miss Willis would be supporting
Yep.
all special ed for high school. But that was not their area of expertise. So they were very excited to have someone with a special ed background to support those special ed teachers.
And does that include the, does like BD or whatever the modern word BD is?
That would be in all levels of the special ed. Yep, I'll continue. They will also support the Nest Center, the new program through the therapeutic grant. So, yeah. Any other questions? You bet.
then will be Mr. Stone, superintendent report.
Sure. You went through and it's linked so you can look at it if you want, but I'll just run through it real quick. City Point, and I want to be transparent with this. There was an issue that took place at our school on July 3rd with an employee of City Point. We are working with the administration at City Point to deal with this issue. So we do know about it and we are dealing with it. But just as everything, we try to keep things, we let people know we're dealing with it, but that's as far as we're going to go as far as what we're doing. Stewart parking lot project, the north parking lot has been poured, is waiting to be lined. There are some touch-up things that need to take place around it, trying to get the seating back, trying to get all the dirt back to it. I've been asked a couple times why the parking lot isn't closer to the building. And I've explained to you guys, but I want to keep explaining the reason why it's not closer to the building, because in 2030, when our high school bond runs off, that's the revenue that's based on the sales tax, the revenue bond. We'll look to probably run another revenue sales tax bond to put a miscellaneous or a multi-purpose room on Lincoln and put a multi-purpose room on Stewart. And where that open spot is exactly where it will fit. So just so you guys know, I want you to be able to answer, and I want people to understand. We're projecting out 9, 10 years in the future of things that we're gonna do. And we're gonna make sure that we don't build anything in one spot that will hamper our extension later on. So that's where that's at. They have started on the south parking lot. This will add several parking spots to the lot and provide easier pickup and drop off. So one of the things, if you drive by now, there used to be a curb that stuck way out right next to the road that you had to go out and around and then come. We've changed that, and we'll put, they don't have to go out on the road anymore. They can turn in. They can just turn in, but we'll have in place not consistent cones. Basically, they're standing cones that we'll have that mark that are drilled into the ground, so they won't move. If they hit them, they bounce back. They bend and bounce back. But to make sure, we want to make sure we mark where the sidewalk is, so our kids are safe, and anyone who's using the sidewalk is safe. But that will be something that's there. Lincoln project. I do hesitate to say this, but we need it to stop raining for at least a couple weeks. We're getting to the point where we're so watered down that it's really hard to get anything done. We're getting stuff done inside the building. The HVAC system, they're installing all the heat pumps in classrooms right now. They're waiting on the well field manifold that is slated to come be here by the end of the month. I tied, if you haven't been past the building, I tied some new pictures in. The new playground, all the pieces are up and it looks amazing. You can look at this if you want. They're linked on this, but if you don't get to look at this, drive by. It looks really, really good. The thing that we're still waiting on there is waiting to pour the rubber flooring for it. And that's here. It's just waiting for them to come and get it poured, and that will be completed. And the thing that'll be hard is I know people will want to get in there and play on it, but with all the other work we have going on, that will still be locked off and still not be able to be played on until we get all the work done. The South Rise room / office renovation. We have our metal studs up for the walls, all our metal studs up for the walls, and they're almost in. I'm sorry, they're not all up. We are waiting for wiring and heating schematics before we move forward. So we're just waiting on some architect things to get that completed. Tuck pointing, our tuck pointers did move around to the west side of the building at this time, and we'll move back to the east side when everything is poured. Right now, we're getting to that, kind of get to that to this next thing. Our playground pad, there is a pad that has been there are pads that have been partially poured. We will need to take this area in 3 different steps because of the needs we have. So the first step is complete. They're letting it settle. Then the second step, and I can't remember exactly what we have to pour in the second step, and then we'll finish it out. So it is kind of a 3-step phase to be able to get it done. Middle school bond issue. We are presenting the precision of signatures for the bond issue for the middle school building. The next step will be working with the committee to present the project publicly to our community. I have offered to meet with anyone who wants to know more about the project. I would love to talk and be able to show this is what we're doing. This is how we're doing it without raising taxes. We're going to be able to provide a great place for our kids and really take care of a lot of our needs without having to raise taxes on people. And that's something, as I said, if anyone wants to meet, just call the office and say, I want to meet about the building. And if you know people who are having questions and they need a little more detail, let me know. I really want to be working with those. The one thing I've asked the board to send me names. If for the committee, if you can, I would like everyone to send me 5 names hopefully by the end of next week, so I can try to call people. We have some people who have volunteered to be on it, but I want to make sure we have 15 to 20 people on that committee and really start teaching about what the building's about, what the advantages that it's going to provide for us and for our students, not only for our middle school students, but for our high school students. I would say the main question I still get asked is, what are you going to do with the old middle school building? And that's something I think as a administrative or a board team, we need to talk about very specifically. I have stated that my recommendation to the board would be to look really hard for people. If the bond passes, look really hard for people to develop it over 3 years, make sure they're a reputable developer, and then write in the contract, which we can. I talked with our lawyer already, write in the contract that so much work has to be done over so many years that if it's not done, it automatically goes back, reverts back to the district. We do have tearing it down built into our budget. So we'll have that money and we'll keep that money until we know for sure that it's moving forward. There are some great possibilities with it. Even after, let's say we're unable to find somebody to develop that building, even after we tear it down, there will be some great development possibilities with it. As far as, like, I look at the town halls that are next to the townhouses that are right next to Fairway. You know, you can almost put 3 of those around and put a nice courtyard in the back. Stuff like that, I mean, it could be really, really nice. So, those are the things we're looking at. The thing I am guaranteeing people is we will not let a building go desolate in the middle of town. And that's the thing I am guaranteeing. We will make sure that doesn't happen through our contract if we sell it out, if someone takes it to develop or purchases it to develop it. So high school, we were working on the baseball clubhouse roof. That got tore off about a month ago, and then it got tore off again. The everything didn't hold on. They tried to seal it and it didn't seal very well. So some of the tarps and that stuff tore off again. So we're working to try to get that taken care of, working through insurance. We also had a pump on our softball sprinkler system overheat and it melted the PVC piping, which sent water everywhere inside the concession stand. LJ Roth came and they've dried everything out. So we won't have a problem with mold, but there are going to be some things that we have to do work-wise to get it replaced. We're working with the sprinkler system, the people who work on the sprinkler system, to see what's going on. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to move it outside. We've had it blow up in the concession stand 2 or 3 times. We're going to get it outside because we don't run it when it's cold anyways. And then the second we have to figure out is why it keeps happening, because this is actually the 4th time it's happened since I've been here. And it hadn't happened before. It's probably just me. It hadn't happened before I got here, but since I've been here, this is 4 times. And we have to know what's wrong. And right now we think the pump isn't getting enough water, so it's overheating. And we need to, ideas that we have is putting a pressure sensor on. If the pressure of the water drops down, then it automatically cuts the electricity off so the pump can't run. Stuff like that is what we're trying to look into to make sure we don't have this issue again.
Is this a complete system from a vendor or did we piecemeal it together?
The people that and I can't remember the company that we have work on it right now, they did not put it in. And I don't know if we got it from a company or if it was kind of just hodgepodge together. It's old. I mean, it's an older system, but that I couldn't tell you.
Oh, sorry.
Right, so we moved it in 2010.
10 years then.
So it's a 10-year-old, 11-year-old system.
Yep.
That's about,
Oh, you get.
that's about it, unfortunately.
But
everything else I think is working fine.
Well, that's the thing. If we can just figure out the pump problem, if we can figure out the pump problem, I think we'll be fine. I do think it doesn't make sense to have it inside the building. We don't heat the building all year long, so it really doesn't make sense. So we're gonna get it out of there, because I walked in, I was out of town when it happened. I walked in the next day and went into the concession stand and flipped the lights on because everything was off, the water was done, and it was for the most part dry. And I saw a little dripping, and I look, and up in one of the light fixtures, it was totally full of water. It was encased in water, and I turn the light off quick, and I mean, yeah. So it was one of those things that we better get this taken care of. So We got the light taken down, got all the water out, but it's just, we just need to get it figured out. And that's what we'll take the time to do that, get it done. So, no, I know, they've told me that multiple times. So, the next one, I got a request from SAI to be a superintendent mentor. We have a new superintendent coming in the area. The requirements for the position are touching base with the mentee once a week. Just either a quick text, phone call, or email, just trying to find out how things are going, meeting monthly to discuss key issues with the mentee is having and or process through SAI calendar checklist and resources. Visiting each other's sites once, and then attending the statewide meetings. One is in person on September 9th, and then the remainder of them are all virtual. This is something I would like to do. I think I had a mentor and it was good for me. And if I can help somebody else be successful in their job, I think it's good. I just wanted to show you guys the time commitment, so you know kind of what to expect. But I think it's something that would be good for me to be involved with, and I plan on being involved with, and unless I hear no, you can't. And so I plan on doing that, but I wanted to make sure I at least showed you this is what's going on. Homeschool assistance program. This will be the last thing I talk about. We'll sign a 3-year contract with the Federation Bank to continue to have our homeschool assistance program in what is the old U.S. Bank, but Federation Bank purchased it. They're updating facilities in the basement for us over the summer. They came through and tore all the tile out, which had asbestos glue. They're going to come back through and put all new carpet in and working on the restrooms. And then eventually, once we get that done, we'll move stuff out of the offices. And then they're going to actually use carpet tile. The US Bank left like 90 squares of carpet tile, big, like 2x2 squares of carpet tile they're going to use that to carpet the offices. So it'll all look new here pretty quickly, but there is an increase in cost, but they are working with us and gave us it falls under the $25,000 budget or restriction that I have or that I can approve. They are working with us and gave us a good break on the cost. The projected cost is a lot higher than what we're actually paying. So
one of the things that I was contacted about was people that were concerned about deliveries of materials
Yep.
that would happen during the summer. Has that been addressed?
it's been addressed. One of the issues, and some of that I've tried to keep up with the homeschool assistance teachers. One of the issues that we've had is as they went through, whatever they used to take the glue off has a pretty pungent smell. And with that smell, it made it so it was hard to be down there. So I talked with Jamie Collier at Federation Bank, and that very day he went over, opened up all the buildings, put fans in the doors, and started blowing everything out. We're running fans and doing that every day now, and it's getting much better. So that's really, like today it was either today or yesterday, we had a couple teachers come and get a bunch of stuff from homeschool assistants and take it over and deliver it. So it's getting better, and we're to the point now where we can get stuff and start doing what we need to do to.
They can take their deliveries.
Yep, they can take their deliveries down. Yep.
And another question, we needed the 5 names by the end of next week, just for clarification. That is to be on the bond issue support committee, not the building, or not some committee about the building.
That is correct. This is just for bond issue committee. This is just to help us move forward. And I've asked people, and I'll be honest, the last time they ran a bond issue, there are people that I'm pretty close with that were on it, and they just said, Mr. Stone, I just can't do that again. They said they lost some business, they lost friends over it, and I don't so far, and maybe I'm probably just new and naive, but I haven't seen that yet. I haven't seen that, but some of that I think is taken into account that we've done a lot of front loading, I think, as far as trying to get information from people through surveys, what they want. I mean, we ran one survey with 4 options, and we ran the second survey with 2 options. I've tried to get out to a lot of committees to talk and just present and just take in information. And the thing that people do like is they like that we do have we do have somewhat of a plan, or at least I have a plan that I'm kind of telling them what we'll try to do with the middle school building. Now, some people want the middle school building to stay, and that's okay. That's definitely their prerogative and their choice, but yeah. Yes,
As far as even drier weather, is that ball field purpose or there's some other things?
just for those, that east area, trying to get everything poured, trying to get our well fields taken care of. Everything else inside the building's fine. It's just a mess right now. I mean, the gravel that we have in there that we were gonna use is so soft. We're gonna talk to them about trying to pull that out and get new gravel in, because it is, like, I went, yeah. I mean, it is, it's,
We spent most of our time.
yep.
I watched 2 crews today, that's all they did the whole day. They're trying to drag dirt out so they can get it out.
Work.
It isn't drying.
Yep.
And it's gonna rain tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, it's awfully saturated, and actually, we're not as bad as some areas, but it's still.
Yeah,
it's
there,
really bad.
there was a town down south that got 7 inches in one night.
I think we've had 3 days since the parking lots on the north side of Stewart were poured in. That were hostile.
Sure.
It's the pickup drop off still. So adding the parking lot, is that helping not back up the line so bad? Or
Well, the line, actually, the part that's gonna help the line so much and actually help the congestion in the street is that at the end where we had that part that junked out, that will really save, out of all the things we're doing as far as the pickup line, that will save more than anything else we're doing. And man, we drop, if half our kids ride, that's about 250 kids. We drop 250 kids off in 10-15 minutes. I mean, it's really,
It does move
it's
fairly
it's
quick,
pretty
but
efficient for as many kids as we have going, but it's still not gonna, like, the one thing that'll help is us taking out that jetty or whatever you want to call it, that really stuck out. So, yeah.
So, next up, we are consent items.
Make a motion to approve the consent items as presented.
second,
They moved in second, that we approve the consent items as presented. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, consent items are approved. Just the only action item, and that's the resolution. School bonds.
Make a motion to approve the resolution ordering an election of the issuance of 25 million general obligation school bonds for the middle school addition to the high school and the high school. addition to the
second,
Been moved and second that we approve the resolution ordering election of the issuance of 25 million obligation school bonds as presented. Discussion.
The only thing I'd like to say with that is, because people will go, why is it 25 million? Because we've said the project budget is 24 million. We put it at 25 million, so if our property taxes over the next 2 years before we get there, but not our property taxes, but if our your property valuation increases, then we can capture as much money as possible with that 270, which will still not raise taxes, but it could let us get to 24.5 million, which gives us another $500,000 to do stuff with. So they thought 25 million would clear it. and cover it. But so if people ask you, there is a reason, some logic behind that. I know I've talked about that before, but
Good clarification. All right, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion approved. And we're not doing that.
Is that because we don't have it yet?
the contract, it's,
Yeah,
it's because it
different
falls
rental
under the,
Under
if it
20
falls under the
Gotcha.
25,000, so I'm able to just sign it.
Gotcha.
Okay, so, our discussion then, our discussion items are gonna revolve around the board goals, so we'll take a look back at our goals from last year and information with those, so. sorry here. Let me read our first goal here. The school district will work to achieve academic success for each student with 1 year's growth is measured for reading and math assessments. So
Okay.
that was provided. So. The A reading and the A math.
Yep.
These all been under closed or these?
These are all, we were unable to do 1 year growth because we didn't take the test. We didn't take the test last year. So I can't show you that. All I can show you is where we're at with our A reading and fast testing. So it was my fault when we made I didn't have the foresight when we made the goal to go, oh, we're not gonna be able to compare because we don't have the information from last year. Well, I should have, because we didn't take the test in the spring. So I should have known. I just screwed up.
The reason to choose 1 year's growth is considering what was lost in different year, that was as we're trying to achieve. is
Yep.
Maybe not get back to where they were, but at least minimum of the growth for as many students as possible.
Yeah, so these are all actually numbers you've all seen before.
Well, there was something though I noticed, with Lincoln. It's the Boston had divided for, that must have been just growth from spring to, or I mean, fall.
Fall to spring. Yep. But it was based off of A reading. Yep.
So would the other building?
I don't know if she had growth per student. I can't remember.
I looked at her presentation last night, there was one growth chart.
Okay. The other buildings, I didn't,
think that was like, it might have been number of students. Wasn't broke down into.
I don't know, Eric. I haven't seen it from the other principals, so we may not have that information.
So are they able, how? How hard is that to? Okay. Growth.
We can try to figure it out.
This spring.
We can try to figure it out. So that's something we can do. I mean, I won't be able to do it sitting here, but we can for our next meeting, if that's something we want to see, I can make sure we have that. So that would probably that would speak to our goal better. So then with that, going on to our second, the second goal, the board will approve 5-year school facility plan and begin implementation. The plan has been completed and has been approved, and we are in the first year of that process. As if you've been around 2 of our buildings, you know what's going on. So we got a $4 million project going on at Lincoln, and then a couple $100,000, $300,000 project going on at Stewart. So we are definitely moving forward with that. The last one I want to ask you guys, the district will provide clear and frequent communication on procedures, safety, and alterations and schedules throughout the school year. Throughout the pandemic, we've sent well over 30 communication clips from the district, but I want to know what you guys' thoughts are. As parents and as community members, did you feel like you were well informed with what's going on. We tried to do anytime there was a big change or a change that would affect our students or staff, we would try to get that information out to everyone. But I kind of want to hear what you guys' thoughts are, if you felt we met that goal.
I do, yeah.
I do, yeah. I mean, especially with the year we had, I mean, it's very confusing to everybody. I don't think anything was left hanging. It made it pretty clear to everybody what's happening when things change. Everybody knew when they change. I think we did exceptionally well.
I think people were alert, like, aware of, you know, hoping things would change because things progress too. So
Yep.
it was on the radar as we
Seeking.
And there were multiple outlets for some of those things too, not just the school district, but some of those changes, the workplace or public health or
Yep.
those kind of things too. Which happen.
And I'm not saying there's nothing good about a pandemic, but when everybody's on alert, they're looking for it.
Right.
Too. So sometimes when, there's not something like that going on, you hear more people say, well, nobody let me know this. Well, it was delivered to you the same way as it was this way, but you're just not paying attention.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
Really, there's a lot of things people have asked me about. I'm like, well, it's been on the school website. I've seen it on KCII. I still have people ask me, what's the plan with the middle school? I'm thinking, wow, really? Because that's been.
Our paper's done a good job covering it. KCI has done a good job covering it. Yep. Yep.
So not everybody is always gonna know, but I think during the last year with all this stuff, COVID stuff going on, people were probably staring at their, waiting for something a little more than normal. And I thought you did awesome.
There was only one thing that I took away halfway through the year, and that was sending out when we had cases. Everyone had access to our spreadsheet. And honestly, I got to people, they're stoned. I'm getting numb to that. So what I made the decision to not send it out anymore so that when we send something out, people look at it instead of, oh, it's another, and I was sending for a while there, I was sending one or two out a week. And that they were becoming numb to that. That's really the only thing we pulled back on. And that was the reason why.
I would say though also that we just, with everything we do, we just need to, we have been doing a good job. We just need to make sure we keep up that tempo, keep that slide.
Yep.
So now, I guess before we discuss about this next year's goals and any changes, retention of some of these items, anything else we need to comment on this past year?
Just say, I have talked to lots of people that are on other school boards or administrators. I would like to thank everybody in this room because we got through all this with a lot less bitching and moaning, if you don't mind, than a lot of districts, and we had a lot better outcome than almost all, pretty much every other one. So I think that's awesome.
That speaks highly to this group. It speaks highly to our admin, to our teachers, to everyone involved, to our parents. I mean, keeping kids home when they need to keep them home. I was, when I was young, or when our kids are younger, if they had a cough, we still sent them to school. This year, if they had a cough, we kept them home because we didn't want them to infect someone else. So I appreciate that with other parents. 'Cause I know several other parents who did that. Like, I actually had parents call me like, well, Mr. Stone, what would you do? I go, if he's not feeling right, I keep him home. And he may be better in 2 days, and then you can send them back or go test them, but if they're not feeling right, and we had a lot of our parents did that. I think our staff, this is the healthiest our staff has ever been throughout a year. We had the least staff missing school since I've been here, because they knew we couldn't find subs, and they pushed through, and I appreciate that. So it was actually the healthiest of all of it's the healthiest our kids have ever been in the middle of it. Well, you guys know everything we've done. That's why. So
Learn some things from it.
yeah. Well, I'm looking at next year, and I've put in an article already that's going to go out here soon. But the only thing, and we have a presidential order, executive order that requires transit to have masks.
We have some stuff on that.
That goes directly against what our state mandate is, or state order is. I talked with our lawyer, and the federal mandate trumps the state mandate. So on our buses, until they decide to raise it on our buses, we'll still continue to have people wear masks, which I know people don't like, but that's the rule, and we're gonna play by the rule. So
I second that, Troy. I think you said it well. I think we all did it. I think we did it. Everybody did a great job. Staff, parents.
Okay, so as far as next year, I think we obviously need to keep the 5-year facility plan, through 1 year of 5, so that needs to remain on that.
I have a note on there, and I don't know if everybody can see it. We volunteered, our district volunteered to go through the district SAMI, which is basically a self-assessment of MTSS implementation. And I would ask that we wait to get through that process before we make our board goals, because we're going to come out of there with an action plan for district wide. And I think it's important that action plan ties into our board goals. And at least be able to have a discussion that here are the things that we've rated ourselves. SAMI basically is a rubric assessment of how you're handling things. And we really looked on infrastructure and leadership are the two things that we're really looking at. And there will be goals and action plan based on those two things that we want to make sure we do. And I would like that to be, if you guys are okay with that, I would like that to be part of our district goal. And that just helps us to continue to become a better system of one instead of a system of 4 different buildings. So I would ask, what's that? We have our next meeting in August. So it'll either be I don't think it's before the August meeting, but it will be before the September meeting. So
Meetings are August 10th and 11th for that.
I can't remember the date of this meeting though. Is it the 11th? So
That's pretty tight.
if we can, we'll bring it to the August meeting. And if we can't, then we'll bring it to the next meeting. But if you guys are okay with that, I hate to push it off, but at the same time, I think that'll be really important to our district and how we move forward.
We just make some down.
You can. If you want to, you can.
Who's shaking that for?
So that will come out with multiple goals to switch here.
That will come out with
It's not like,
multiple.
Here's our overriding goal, only related to same. There's gonna be multiple.
Yep.
it'll cover multiple areas.
Yep, there'll be goals in multiple areas, but I still think we'll need a student success goal. That's something we'll need, and I think we'll need a goal about our 5-year plan. But the other goals, that 3rd or 4th goal, that may tie directly into what we're doing SAMI wise.
Will there be information from the state that would impact setting a student achievement goal?
No, I don't believe there would. I guess, did you hear that question, Vita? I want to check.
That would be more building specific.
That's, yeah.
So then with that information is our administrative team. Are we still on board with the 1 year monitoring the 1 year progress or 1 year's growth, I should say?
I believe so. Yep. And we can come to the next meeting and have that conversation for sure.
So as of now, it's going to be related to student achievement, the facilities plan, and then what comes out of SAM.
Which there's parts of Sammy about communication. So
So.
Related to communication. Okay. All right. That's the pleasure discussion for tonight.
it does.
Yeah, just a moment. So we got to meet, looks like we have to meet July 28th.
So this is our second swing at the bond, so we can, all our ducks are in a row, and we are going to be getting a much better interest rate by waiting. Because we got some financial reporting done that helped, and we also did just a little bit of bonding insurance. We got time to that band.
Yep. It got us a better rating,
It got us a better rating.
which in turn gives us a better.
Course, which is going to improve our interest rate. So it's been well worth it. So we'll kick that off on the 28th. That could be a Zoom meeting again. That'll be a 5-minute deal. And then we'll do the sale and approve the bid and at our regular meeting on the 11th, and then we'll be done.
The 28th is a Wednesday.
Yes, I did them both on Wednesdays just so to keep them. So we know what's going on. Yeah, I think it's the 28th.
Didn't think we figured it out.
I wasn't sure.
Forget
All
those
right, so
7
the
a.m.
28th, the 11th. Again, just thanks for letting us come down here again. I appreciate the meeting, but still nice to meet you. Now we can have a motion.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded, we adjourn. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Adjourn. Need to,